This is the cuboid. Top 5 underappreciated bone. Because out of the 28 bones in the foot, right here, this is one that doesn't get a lot of attention. But you can have cuboid syndrome. This is well published now. 2011, up to 5% of athletes were crippled by cuboid syndrome. We're going to go over your cuboid syndrome and more than you ever want to know about the cuboid right now. If you have outside of the foot pain, it might be your cuboid. So there's a lot of studies now, specifically 2 studies. In 2011, they said almost 5% of athletes have chronic outside of the foot pain that's messing up their running. This goes for nurses, factory workers, people on their feet all day. If you have ligaments and tendons on the outside of your foot that are weakened, stretched, or agitated due to flat foot, it might be your cuboid that's messing up your foot. So you can see on the outside of the foot, there's a lot of ligaments and tendons and muscles along the cuboid. So the number one biggest cause is ankle sprains. One study in 2006 found up to 40% of ankle sprains can agitate the cuboid. So this means the ligaments and tendons running through there, specifically the peroneus longus, can agitate it. So if you had an ankle sprain ever in your life, it might be your cuboid. If you have a flat foot, so if you're walking and your foot's flat, you can see the cuboid is getting agitated right there. So on the outside of your foot, when you land and your foot flattens out, your cuboid is jostling around in there, and a lot of weird stuff's happening to your cuboid. It can get stuck and readjusted in the wrong position, and this could lead to jamming and outside of the arch pain. So the way cuboid syndrome feels is along the outside of the foot right here, you're sore, you're achy, it could be redness, you don't have quite the flexibility in your ankle, you feel stiffer, you're walking with your leg turned out to the side to take pressure off the cuboid on the outside. Those are the symptoms. This right here is your cuboid bone, right there. So you can see a couple things could happen with this. Watch this. Oh, it's not dislocated, but that's subluxed. Now it's back into place. Or this could happen. Not completely dislocated. Well, that's kind of dislocated, but see, now it's back into place. But watch this. Kind of dislocated, kind of dislocated. So what happens is, if the ligaments surrounding this and at the bottom right here become loose or torn, this can start to shift and kind of pop out of place. So when you're walking, it's not rubbing normally. So as you're walking, if this bone right here is popping out of place, see, that could mess you up quite a bit. So what happens is, something like that is called cuboid subluxations right there. So if you're walking and it's out of place, that can tend to happen when your foot flattens. See how the cuboid is out of place right there? When a lot of things happen, when you get sore, when the ligaments get agitated, but that's cuboid subluxation. So right now, see how my feet are equal? If this one can bend here and this one can't, that might mean it's your cuboid. Whereas right here, the cuboid might be on this one. There's 2 maneuvers. Basically, they have great success rates. Some studies say 90% successful, but hey, if I'm going to write a study, I'm going to make sure it's at least 80% successful if I'm going to publish it. So studies always say it's successful, but basically a cuboid squeeze, or correction, a cuboid whip means the cuboid's underneath and I'm popping it up with my thumb. And a cuboid squeeze means I'm basically squeezing it and popping it back down. But basically, all you want to do is jostle it a little bit and jostle the bones around it with some force until it pops back into place. This is your cuboid right here. Right about there is your cuboid. Right through there. So what happens is, you could see that there is a muscle there. So when you're pressing, you're really bruising up that muscle. So as we take off that muscle underneath as well, you could see that the cuboid is under here, and you have this tendon called your peroneus longus, and the tendon actually runs over the cuboid. So see how the tendon's going through there? So you can see across the bottom, see how you have this groove right here? That's a groove for the tendon. See how my pen goes in there perfectly? So you can see as I clear away all these muscles, that tendon's going through there. So when you're pushing it, you're actually pressing on the tendon underneath and the muscle up top. So don't get too aggressive. You don't need to bruise anything up. Just loosen it up, stretch, and you can also twist the fifth metatarsal. So what you're looking at is twisting this guy and twisting this guy. So see, I can basically, if it's at a place, I can basically take my thumb and always put it back into the right place. So there's two maneuvers. There's called the cuboid whip, and then there's a cuboid squeeze. But basically, what the idea is between both of them, is the cuboid's at a place and you want to get it back into place. To me, the techniques don't really matter that much. What happens basically is you want to take the cuboid and you kind of want to just wiggle it back into place. These are just forceful maneuvers. So the maneuvers basically include pushing it up. So it's like a forceful push-up, or a forceful, if it's above, it's a forceful push down. So if it's below, you want to push it up. If it's above, you want to push it down. So a couple of good ways to do this is, I saw a couple of great descriptions. You basically just want to take the foot and you want to wiggle it. So wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. It kind of loosens it up and gently starts to pop back into place. Same thing, you can do the fifth metatarsal. You can do these ones and you wiggle it. So the process calls for 10 wiggles of this, 10 wiggles of this. So if you're going to do it yourself, so see right here, I conveniently marked out your cuboid. So see, the cuboid's tough to feel, but you can see your fifth metatarsal right here. This bone right here, I can feel the end right there. So you can feel that right there. So you know that's your fifth metatarsal. So you can draw that. Since you know this is here, you can feel your heel bone. And you can feel your heel bone's kind of coming up to about there. And the heel bone's kind of ending right about there. So here's your cuboid. So basically the idea is you want to take your cuboid and you want to basically twist it. So you could go right here, 10 twists. Mine's in good position already. Or you could take this bone and do 10 twists. So you can kind of gently start to pop it in. I feel the difference between the two bones right there. So nothing's hurting right here, but I'm pressing under there. There's also another technique where they say, so here's your cuboid right here. You want to press with your thumb and you want to press it. So if it's below, you want to press with your thumb. This is called the cuboid whip. So basically, the whole point is you jack the foot down while you push up with your thumb. So jack the foot down while you push up with your thumb. The squeeze maneuver is if you're holding the cuboid from underneath, you want to push the toes down like this. So see, like this, you can pop it in or down. So the names aren't really that important to me, but the idea is you're kind of just wiggling it back into place. So for myself, I'm just grabbing it with my thumb and I'm using it. If you have somebody helping them, basically massaging and from underneath too. See, there's the cuboid underneath. So underneath, if you get your thumb there, I have a hard time doing it on myself, but basically that's your cuboid. I can feel it moving right there. See how I have my fingers there? You can pop it back in. So that's your cuboid massage right there. So bend 10 times, bend 10 times, bend 10 times, bend 10 times. So here's how you prevent cuboid syndrome long term. Number one, if you can, go see your podiatrist. Your podiatrist can work and jostle it back into place. You can get an x-ray. An x-ray always gives us a lot of advantage. You can get an ultrasound to see if your peroneus longus tendon is agitated or not running through that cuboid groove properly. What you can also do is get an MRI. An MRI, get a professional board certified radiologist who spends his entire life looking at just cuboids, evaluate it for you, and that'll give you a lot of info about what's going on with your cuboid. As always, with a lot of foot problems, get a great shoe. The more supportive your shoe is, if you're having cuboid syndrome, the more you want to protect your foot. So great shoe features are a stiff back. You can't bend the bottom, then the big toe bends. So get yourself a great shoe. We have some links for great shoes down in the show notes. And the next thing you want to do is you want to get a great insert for that cuboid. So see, the bottom line is it doesn't twist around as much. Your cuboid doesn't jostle around as much. I show this and prove it in a lot of my videos. So again, links. This is cuboid recovery. If it's a constant outside of the foot problem, this is pretty much guaranteed to get you at least a little bit better. If it's not, go see your podiatrist. If that's still not helping, compression ankle braces are great. Stability ankle braces. But what you want to do first is make sure that that's your problem. The only reason this wouldn't get better with these treatments is if that's not what the only problem was. There could be nerve problems surrounding the site. There could be all this stuff, but we're talking sub 5%. If you're in that 5%, that's kind of where surgeries, where diagnostic injections and things come in, and advanced MRI testing. But most people, you can pop that bone back in, you can feel better. It's a lot of success with these treatments.